Well, good morning at 4:39 in the afternoon. The new silicone isolation feet came. In all fairness to SVS, their speaker isolation system is way better than $20 more than this. This was $29.99, theirs is $49.99. I got this for $25. In relative quality and price comparison, I say this is worth closer to 10 or 15. Simba's about to jump up here, I think. There you go. I mean, they should get the job done. They're just pretty basic. But, you know, that's all I really need. I mean, don't get me wrong, they seem nice enough. They have good flex and swivel, which is really all you need. The no hardware is actually why I got them, because first off, if I'm using them for the front towers, I'm not going to need hardware anyway. And I don't trust that that other speaker, the subwoofer, the P1000, has grommets I can screw into. And even if it did, after what happened with it last time, I don't really want to turn it upside down again. So I'm just going to shove these under each of the corners and call it good. It also will have a benefit from that, I think, because the amplifier plate sitting on the bottom, it is vented, but it does get warm. So if it's up above the carpet a little bit, that should help keep it stay cool. Well, anecdotally, those speaker feet don't seem to be making a huge difference. I might be getting a little less rattle in the cabinet. Not really sure. The partition between here and the gym is definitely rattling either way. But I mean, that's to be expected because of just the airwaves anyway. What I'm trying to prevent is contact waves through the concrete. And the concrete wall definitely is not doing anything at the moment. Don't really know if it was before. Also, this is kind of a cool effect. I'm just playing one of the laser show videos. This is what the room would look like if it was another like 7 or 8 feet long. That screen's kind of small. the inner screen. So yeah, 150 inches from that far back is less impressive than the shorter room. It's also what the laser would look like further back. Just kind of funny. These feet do work really good for the front speakers. I can either leave them on the cap so that makes them a little unbalanced, a little hard to line up, or I can actually just unscrew the existing feet and put these on. So I'll probably go ahead and do that. Kind of tempted to get the SVS feet, and then I could just get one set and put it on the subwoofer here, and then get 2 of these. Well, I already have one, so get one more set of the ones I already bought for the front towers. But, you know, again, I'm not sure it's making a huge difference, and that's another like 80 bucks in feet, where I could just get, and you know, 2 more sets of the other ones for like 60. Probably closer to 50 because they have like 10 and 5% off. So yeah, of course now I would have to get to that other tower in the corner, which would not be fun since I just put all that stuff back. So I have to determine if I even want to worry about it. He hasn't said anything yesterday or today, but I'm also consciously trying to be a little quieter. Definitely seems bassy down here, although I have the front towers off right now, because I was just trying to see how the bass of the one sub was affecting the room post feet install. Not a lot going on today. I'm just kind of lounging around. Probably do a little bit more of this because it's fun. I don't even necessarily think I want to do measurements today. You know, kind of pre and post Odyssey. Like, you know, speaker preset 1 versus speaker preset 2. And I could also do like Odyssey with and without room gain compensation, or not room gain, the other thing, dynamic EQ. But like I said, it makes the surround so much hotter. I don't think I want to really have that on either way. Oh, what I was actually thinking was Odyssey pre and post changing the filter, or the range it can affect. So going from full range back down to like cutting it off at like 350, 400 hertz. So those are things I can try, but I don't really think I want to right now. Before I head upstairs for the day, anecdotally, I didn't really hear any difference in the soundstage or the audio presence, whether the front tower subwoofers were on or off. At least at the volumes I was listening at. Yeah, I'm sure if I bumped it up, I'd get quite a bit more low end. But just as like a general rule, not so much. But I guess the original intent wasn't really for that anyway. It was for more even bass distribution, which you're not going to hear statically sitting in the seat. So yeah. Was it worth it? Kinda, I guess. It's not really impacting the day-to-day. It was definitely more impactful getting the second 10-inch subwoofer behind the couch up and working and calibrated, and part of the normal listening experience. I don't really think I'm going to miss the front speakers much versus them not being on. Especially if they're making more audio travel to the neighbor, which is basically giving me a situation where I have to listen at a lower volume than I typically would. So I don't know. The result is questionable at best, but ultimately, at least on paper, I think it's better. A butt kicker will definitely be more beneficial in the long haul, I think. Anyway, that's it for now. I will do measurements and stuff probably Monday or Tuesday. Right now I'm just going to do some laundry and maybe do some job stuff. See you later. Okay, I'm back. I'm not downstairs today, although I do have one project. I ended up getting 2 more of those ceiling curtain rod holders because I want to route the cables behind the screen a little bit better, instead of having them go over the water pipe and the trusses. I would like to actually get them through some of those grommets, and I don't really have anything going on over by the edge of the screen where the farmost, I guess, left-hand speaker would be. The clip I had there broke, so I need to get ahead and get those up, but this is a more important project. So I'm tired of my drive situation. So first off, I think I have some good news. It looks like I am probably now re-employed. Have a work at home position, working for some sort of call center. I'll be getting more details this Tuesday. Basically, it seems like I've passed all the assessments. Now it's just a verbal offer, and then I have to pass a background check, of course, which should be fine. But until they actually say, hey, you got the job, I want to be a little cautious. But it seems like I have one, and it's paying me the most I've ever received, $17.31 an hour. I've never made that much straight time before. I've always made, prior to that, my highest would have been $15.50 at Meyer, I believe. I think I was only getting 14. It might have been 16 when I was working for SanDisk back in the day, but I think it was 14, and I just worked a lot of overtime because I was kind of the lead for Australia. But in any event, I also got a loan that came through because I was essentially out of money, and I was very concerned because unemployment hadn't started up yet, and I hadn't yet received a job. Unemployment has also now started, so I'm still waiting on the back payments. I have a protest in because they denied me my first 4 weeks, but at least I have my current 2 weeks and should be able to get from this day forward up to when I officially start the new job. So I have some money. So this needs to be fixed. All of these drives are essentially full. That Elements is an external drive that is just kind of being overflow space at the moment because I don't have anywhere else to put stuff. I got about 1.5 terabytes free on the movie drive, one of them. Everything else is basically full. Animated movies has a little bit of space, we're only talking like 200 gig. And then the server's almost full. The server's down here at the bottom. I mentioned this the other day. I only have 3.5 terabytes free on that. It should have everything on there that I currently have downloaded, but you know, movies come out every day, or every week at least. I never did the up conversion of my DVD project, so I wanted to get as many of my like 640 movies as possible into at least 1080 wherever possible. I already have a 4K list that I went through once before. I recently updated that with the last 5 or 6 months of movies, so I'm gonna have to go through that again, see if I'm missing anything. But there's a whole lot of movies on here that are still DVD resolution or below. And honestly, the current video codecs, the 1080 movies aren't that much bigger. You know, you're talking 1 to 2 gig versus like 700 meg, sometimes 1400 meg if it's split up into 2 files. So we're not talking a huge file increase, but definitely a good fidelity increase. So that's a project I want to work on. I also have a whole bunch of CDs that I want to just get rid of. So old backups, I want to make sure, you know, what's on there. A lot of that is already on the server in theory, but some of it might not be. So that's going to take up some space. You know, again, we're only talking 700 meg at a time, give or take, but it adds up. So, basically the way this works is right now in the server we have 4 20 terabytes and 2 18 terabytes. The server started with 6 2 terabytes. So basically what happens is the server gets pretty close to full. I get whatever the next generation of hard drive is. I pull out the 2 terabytes and they become backups drives. So there's only 4 there. There's another one sitting on the desk here. I'm not sure where the 6th one is. It's possible my old roommate has it. Or it could be, a lot of times I'll stick these in computers. So like this OSD is basically was the drive that was in my all-in-one computer over here. This guy. That's what I had to bring back up because I needed to get the webcam for a interview. But then he was in here for a bit as my secondary download drive because this only has a 1 terabyte SSD, basically, normally. But this other computer apparently doesn't boot, even though it boots from the SSD that I installed on this one over here. The boot manager is on the original 2 terabyte that was installed in there. So that drive has to be connected to be able to get onto the SSD. It's kind of stupid. So anyway, so that's basically these drives will then become backups or go in other computers. So, and they usually try to do them in pairs because the way RAID works, you're not really going to get much of a bump in space unless you have at least 2 drives or more that are of the higher capacity. So I put in, you know, 2 4 terabyte drives. These are the 3.63s. 2 of the 2 terabyte drives came out. Then the next upgrade was 2 more of the 2 terabyte drives came out, and we put in a pair of 10s. That's what these 9.09s are. Then the next 2 terabytes come out, and we put in a pair of 12s. So that's the G and L. So then we had 4s, 10s, and 12s. Well, then that got full. So the 2 4s come out, and we put in the next thing, which is 2 16s. And so on and so forth. So now what'll happen is I'm gonna get, I already ordered them because again I feel a little more confident in now that I have an incoming income source. Plus I did have a loan which pads out the bank account for a bit, so I'm not like desperate for money. So we'll pull out the 2 18s that are in here now. That will get replaced with 2 22 terabyte drives. And then those 18s can go in my offline, well, kind of offline, storage tower here. And I have 4 more bays on top, just as a hot swap. So then I can take, say, the contents on, you know, 2 of these 2 terabyte drives, dump them onto the 18s, and then have 16 terabytes free to play with. then the server will have two terabytes and 222 terabytes rather, so that'll give me some space there to play with. And there we go. So then I'll just get rid of the 2 terabytes. I would like to put the one that goes in this computer back in this computer, and then this guy can get his own dedicated 2 terabyte that they're not sharing anymore. Originally I didn't really need the 2 terabyte and the all-in-one anymore, but it's just easier to reinstall it and have it in there. This way you can boot without having to like reinstall Windows and all that, which I don't really feel like doing. Not on that machine, I'm barely going to use it. So that'll give me space here for auxiliary backup. It'll give me some space on the server, quite not as much. And then I'll have a couple of spare drives to play with for various system stuff. To do all of that, I need to make sure that the server is nice and secured, because it hasn't happened yet, but yeah, it's possible one of the times I go to pull one of these discs, because I mean it's a RAID, so it'll rebuild itself. But you're always taking a risk. So one of these days I'm going to pull out a disk and the rebuild's going to fail, or it's going to crash, or the drive I put in there is going to fail during the rebuild or something, and the whole thing might go offline. So before I go to these operations, I typically try to make sure that I have all of the files on there backed up. And that's why this exists. You know, if this other thing completely craps to bed, because it's, like I said, going on, I don't know, 12 or 15 years old at this point. It's an old Intel Atom, something or other. It's only got, I think, 2 or 4 gigs of RAM. It's not, it was high spec, you know, at the time, but it's definitely showing its age. Power supply can go, fans can go, things can happen. OS can get corrupted. So, at some point, I'm prepared for this thing to die. And I want to not lose all of my 87 terabytes of data that's on there. Or I guess 84 and some change. So I always try to, even though this is redundant, so if you lose a drive, it can technically rebuild itself. If it just goes away completely, I want to make sure all of that data is available on other drives, so I can at least put it back on there without having to find all this stuff again. Some of which I'll never find again. Or, you know, stuff that I've created, like all my GoPro footage is on there. Years and years of downloaded pictures and all sorts of stuff. So I always try to make sure that there is an archive offline somewhere. So essentially my data is triply backed up. It's got the double redundancy there, well, the redundancy, and then it's doubly redundant somewhere else. Anything that's not on the server, I also make sure I have at least on 2 different drives. Right now, I think all of my data is on the server. Anything that's even remotely useful, at least, because it's had enough space where I could do that. There have been times where stuff had to come off because I just didn't have the ability to get new hard drives in there at the time. And then so I would make sure that's on at least 2 or 3 externals to make sure it's not going anywhere. So before I start getting these drives installed, which they should be here tomorrow, I want to go ahead and finish cleaning up my download directory, make sure everything that's on there is copied to external storage, so in case anything does go wrong, I'm prepared. And that does take some time. I've been meaning to do this. I've been doing the download directory and stuff in spurts. I'm pretty close to getting it finished. So I'm going to spend my time doing that today, especially since I am probably starting a new job in the next week or two. Yeah, I'm going to start running out of time to do all these auxiliary projects that I've been having the time to do this last month. So I need to buckle down and get that done. Kind of along those lines, I'm really trying to hold back on getting that butt kicker now. It's only $300. I could totally do it. I think I'm going to wait until I get an official confirmation of an offer and have a start date before I go and do that. But with as much of a reserve cash flow that I'm sitting on, I may decide to go ahead and do it before then. Depends on how patient I am. Because I really want to see if it's going to work with the existing amp, and if it does, maybe I'll just buy another one of those Rockvilles for the 133 rate again, because they come on sale used pretty often. But I definitely want to make sure it's going to work with that amp before I do that. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to hold off, but I may not resist. Got a couple other things on Amazon, nothing major, just got a couple of, so there's these metallic metal poster things that basically act as a poster frame that is around the Luna. I think we're going to do that for the movie scratch-off poster I mentioned, where we can scratch off the movies as we watch them. And then I'm going to stick those downstairs, coming down the stairs, because we have magnetic hooks that we can hook to the beam. So those are coming. I got the 2 more pairs of isolation feet to put on the towers. I got a couple of new power strips because we needed a new one downstairs. It was small and the outlets were super loose. Got one for the wife's nightstand that's got some USB ports and stuff on it to make her life a little easier. So I'm not doing a lot of spending because I just recently paid everything off again with the money that I just got. But I'm making a couple of upgrades to my life. All in all, I think everything with the hard drives was like $1,000. No, not even close. Like $600, 6 or 7. Because the hard drives, I got them refurbished. So we're talking 22 terabyte hard drives for like $289, where they're normally like still 500 and change. So yeah, I'm not really just wanting to spend $1,000 on hard drives right now, but I'll spend like 500 on hard drives, 500 or 600. So yeah, 289. So yeah, it's probably like 700 or so with everything all told. The next upgrade for the server, if it even lasts that long, you know, it doesn't make any sense to go from a 20 to a 22 terabyte hard drive. That's just kind of wasteful. I would like to put either 24s in there. Ideally, would go all the way up to a 30. So we'll see what the 30s launch at. Usually they'll drop $100 or $200 within a couple of months. But yeah, we'll probably go from 20s to 30s eventually, assuming I don't move to a new hardware platform between now and then. I'm really looking at like a Synology or something. I've thought about building my own NAS, but I'm not really sure I want to do that. I don't really build computers. I would like to try to build one at some point, but I don't know that I want my NAS to be the first experience I have with that. Plus, I like it to be very low power and very low maintenance and very robustly supported software-wise. I don't know that I can really set that up myself with my knowledge. So I'm looking at a Synology 12 bay, because that'll go from 6 to 12. So I have some flexibility on my configurations. And it's like $3,000. I can do an 8 bay for like $2,000, but that's only giving me 2 additional bays. Now they're expandable with external storage shells, but that again takes up space and more power. So I think if I'm going to upgrade it, we're going to upgrade it big. Moves me to a Xenon. I should be able to actually start running Plex again, because when I try to run Plex on this guy, it can run, it's supported, but the background tasks of updating the art and stuff usually tries to kill the CPU, or it gets bogged down memory-wise, and it just becomes kind of unresponsive. So I haven't had good luck running Plex on this, even regarding transcoding, just running it as a media database. Didn't really work very well. But the Synology should more than handle that, among other things. You know, at some point in the future, maybe we'll move over to like a IP-based camera system for some future house. Should be the last server I'll need for a while. But again, it's a $3,000 investment, but 4 hard drives. Again, I can't really take this guy down. I mean, I could, but I'd rather keep this one up temporarily while I'm populating and moving stuff over to the new one. So the best solution would be to buy all new hard drives, start fresh with that one. Probably start with like 6 30 terabytes or something. Copy everything over. And then either keep this as my new backup, or I could pull these drives out and put them in the other 6 bays. So then I'll have, what, 6 30 terabytes, probably 4 20 terabytes and 2 22 terabytes. That'll be a big server. And it too is expandable with other bays. 212 by 212. It can add additional 2 12 bay chassis to it. So that, again, it should set me for life, or at least for the foreseeable future, until like computing goes through another couple leaps. You know, maybe when I'm storing 8K video or something, I'll need something different. So that's the long-term plan. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead and continue to move my files around, get them renamed the way that I like, make sure they're both on the server and on external storage. So I got to basically rename the file and copy it twice. It takes time, but that's what I want to do today. Hopefully get it finished, although I don't know for sure. We'll see, I guess. And then tomorrow I might be able to get the first hard drive upgrade started. So yeah, that's the update. Haven't run any measurements or anything downstairs. It'll come. Probably. I should probably do that soon, again, before I start the new job. But I'm not as concerned about it. It's kind of where I like it listening-wise now, so it's more of just an anecdotal, hey, this is what it looks like kind of deal. It's not really something I need to do to address my movie watching experience, so it's low priority. Now, if I get a butt kicker, that is definitely something that will take my time up downstairs a little bit. Not really going to affect the measurements any, but and it shouldn't really require recalibration or anything, but it'll take some time to set up. That'll be a fun little project. I would like to do that before I actually start work, but again, crossing fingers, don't know for sure. We'll make sure I can get the job first and then see what my pay stub should be like. But it's likely I'm going to do that within the next month or so, probably less. Alright, let me get back to this. Well, happy Monday. One more day until I find out for sure about the job. Meeting is tomorrow at like 10 in the morning. It sounds like it's just a... Why is it I never have batteries when I need them? Anyway, again, happy Monday. As I was in the middle of saying, I have the offer session for the new job tomorrow, about 10 in the morning. So we'll see how that goes, because I'm pretty sure I have it. Just have to pass the background check and fill out some forms. I got all the stuff I need, so I went ahead and ordered more of these little ceiling brackets so you can route cables. The holes are pretty small, so we'll see how many of those power cables I can actually get through them, if any. I've kind of already started a little bit. So I installed one of them yesterday. Alexa, turn on screen. So I have one installed here. I got the speaker cable and the power cable for the lounge sign routed through. I'm not sure how many of the speaker cables are going to fit for the power. It would be better if I had the other end, because it's the flatter side of the plug. But I'm not going to reroute all that through the ceiling and all that, so I'm just going to route them from here, whatever will fit. And then I also, outside of having to put away the Christmas tree, this is the outside tree. It's finally dry enough for me to box it, so I have to do that at some point. Oh, also, we hung up the posters. So these are those scratch posters we were talking about. So it's the top 100 must-see movies before you die, and this is the top 100 list. So as we watch stuff, we've been scratching them off. It's quite a bit of duplication, but some of them are different. Batman's actually broken. It actually won't scratch down here. It's kind of weird. But we got those magnetic poster things that I use for the Sisu upstairs, and they just hang right there. That looks pretty good, I think. But anyway, I got 2 more sets of the speaker vibration feet. So I figure if I have to move all these boxes anyway to put the feet on, at least now I can do that and the cable mounting. So it gives me an excuse to go back there and do more than one thing. So I can clean up some of that and just get some tension off of these water pipes and such. So that'll be my plan for today. Server update. It's been about 48 hours since the resync started after putting on the new hard drive. It's about 35% of the way there. The times fluctuate pretty wildly, but it's saying anywhere between 3 and 5 more days before it's done. And that's just making the data redundant. Then it has to go through another several day process of actually expanding the volume, and that's only one hard drive. Then I get to do it all over again when I pull out the other 18 to put the other 22 in. So yeah, it takes forever, and that's kind of the other reason I need a new server. First off, the 24 and 30 terabyte drives aren't even out yet. The 30 terabyte drives, I thought they said were going to be conventional, but more articles I read on them looks like they're actually going to be Hammer, the heat assisted magnetic recording, which I don't even think those drives are compatible with most hardware, at least consumer level. So I might not even be able to put 30s or 24s in there, let alone the other server. So we'll see. I might get, oh no, never mind. I was gonna say I might get one more 22. Yeah, no, I might get one more 22. So I'll have 320s and 322s, because that'll be the most efficient use of the RAID space, the way that this operating system is set up. But that's it. I'm not going to replace the other 20s with 22s. So it wouldn't be cost effective to do it that way. So unless I can get 24s or bigger in there, that server's probably done. The other problem too is, you know, the bigger these drives get, the longer these rebuilds take. You know, the other rebuilds were like a day or two. Now it's like 7+, just because of the amount of data it's got to shuffle around. So what am I going to have to get? The next time I'm out of space, which hopefully will be at least a year or two. Kind of depends on what movies come out. Now we're going to have to get some sort of NAS upgrade. Good news, I guess. The $3,000 one that I was looking at, the 12 bay, is more geared towards business, which I knew, and I was fine with that. But it gives you a nag message about not using their hard drives, which are like triple the cost of conventional drives, which again I also knew, and I was going to just deal with the nag message, no big deal. What I did not know until recently is that you can't use their SHR RAID technology, which basically functions the same way as the one I have now is. It basically partitions the disks so you can use disks of different size and still get effective RAID capacity. Normally with the RAID you have to use disks that are all the same size, otherwise you have capacity that's missing, because the larger disks won't use their full capacity if not every disk is that size. It also prevents the volume from expanding when you add bigger capacity disks. So I was going to use the SHR technology, which is kind of the same thing my current one does, but it's not compatible with that unit. They just have it disabled for business reasons. So I guess that means I need to go with the other 12 bay model, which is the more home edition. It's an AMD Ryzen. It's only $1,800, so I guess there's that. And it doesn't really give you the same warnings about non-compatible disks. It supports the SHR tech. The only downside, really, well, outside, there's a few downsides. First off, it's only got 4 gigs of memory, but I mean, I guess that's enough, since they're saying you can expand it still. It's expandable with 1 additional 12 bay instead of 2 additional 12 bays, so that gives me a total of 24 versus 36. And it's a lower spec processor, but that should be fine. And then, like I said, the SHR is a more important feature. So unless they allow it on the other model or come out with some other, because that other one, the home version, was released in 2021. So maybe they'll give that a refresh where it'll be kind of an upper spec before I need to buy one. And then the other big one is it's only got gigabit Ethernet built in. I would like to move up to preferably 10 gig, if not 2.5 gig. Not that my network supports that yet, but at some point it will. But you can get an add-in card for like $200. That'll do it, and that's still a $2,000 investment versus a $3,000 investment. So I guess I'm still ahead of the game. Anyway, now that all that unnecessary details out of the way, let's go ahead and move some more boxes and get some feet set up and get some more mounting things hooked up. Oh, that wasn't really so bad. One more pile. Of course, 2 of those are the damn DVD boxes. So yeah, there's that. But I don't have to make it quite as roomy back here because I'm not moving the speaker. I just really need to be able to stand there. Which, yeah, means I really should move the DVD boxes. But I'm gonna go ahead and put these feet on first, since this is all accessible now. So basically, yeah, I know it's dark. These caps that are down here unscrew, and then these feet will just kind of replace them. So yeah, these guys unscrew, leaving me basically that, and then this will just come in and scoot right under it. So basically like that. Of course, the only downsides is, first off, now they're no longer height adjustable, but in theory these floors are level enough. And two, they're going to be a hell of a lot harder to like move and pivot. But once they're in position, they don't really need to be moved or pivoted. And that could actually be a strength, because they won't move around on me. You know, because they get bumped a little bit here and there. But yeah, so that's a pretty simple fix. Whether it'll do anything, you know, every little bit helps, I guess. It wasn't that expensive, so it's gotta be better than zero. Oh, one down. One to go. Seems flat and straight enough. I think it's towed in too much now. I'll fix that in a second. I think I'm going to take a break from that and work on some of these cables, see if any of these will fit through the hole. And then I'll move the rest of the boxes and work on that speaker. And the answer is none. None of them fit through, at least with the other cords in. And the other cords would be too hard to get in once those are in, so they still serve as an anchor point. So I just have the cords wrapped around it and then Velcro tied. And I don't think I'm going to bother with one on this end, because there's one already there in that corner. I can't really route anything through anything, because most of these are through cables anyway, like power wise, so I think that's good enough. Things are mostly out of the way. You know, some of these are the way they are because they're super short, and that's all the slack I got on them. But I'm happy with that. Keeps them more out of the way. It's a little cleaner. Good enough. Now I just got to put feet on the other speaker. And I really should fix this while I'm back here, but I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do that yet. Like, I know I want to use those bracket things, those cardboard L's, but I don't think tape's going to work, given previous examples. So I really want to screw them in, but I want to screw from the other side, and obviously I can't really do that if I almost need two people to do it. But I'll figure something out. Maybe I'll just like remove a tile and then like do a section and then all that, but that's going to require some effort. I don't think I'm in the mood for that right now. There's enough of a lip. One thing I could probably do is just tape the L things to this, just so it has something to press against and not worry about screwing them. At least that'll keep them together and prevent them from pushing back. That I think I can do. Oh, that works pretty good. I almost pushed it too far forward, but I think it's in an okay spot. Especially from back there. A little close up, you can kind of see what's going on. So it's just a little too far forward, but not really. It's just the height. But yeah, that's way better. And it's actually, that tape's holding really good to this part going down. So I actually probably do have enough tension where I could screw into this if I wanted to. And I might do that down the road. But right now it seems fine. I haven't done this half yet. That'll be the next step. I was thinking about only doing one and seeing how it goes. Maybe do the other one tomorrow, but it looks like it's working really good. And I'm not using that much of that tape, so if it does fail, no big deal. But yeah, that's all we got. So I do the same thing over here to this one. And then I got a short piece that I could do for down there. I think we're good. I should have did this a long time ago. I'm not sure why I didn't think of it. Originally I was going to use some actual wood, but that ended up getting used to stabilize the back wall. I actually have slats of wood connecting the gap between the 3 panels back there. So that's where those went. But yeah, this seems to be working really good. I like it. That's been bugging me for years. Can't believe I've had this theater for years already. That's also kind of blowing my mind. Well, the feet are done. Some of the screws are pretty locked in there, one on each speaker at least. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. I hope they do something, and I hope the neighbor appreciates it, because this was a decent amount of work. But that's done. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this other cross piece here, and then I'm going to call it a day and go back upstairs and relax until my interview tomorrow, or offer session. Like I said, I should already have the job, but I'll let you know. Oh yeah, that's so much better. And it's definitely solid enough. I could easily throw a couple of screws in there from this side, and I don't think it would move the tape at all. I might do that because like this is still pretty loose. It doesn't really want to stay back. And it looks better when it's pushed further back. But at least they're flat. And they're staying together. Definitely needs a couple of screws. But it's so much better. And it was so easy. Good job, me. So really the only thing that's a consistent problem, not even so much this guy, because the lasers keep him pretty well hidden, but this guy. I never did find a good way to secure this to the ceiling. So I don't know. That's really the only project left that doesn't have a full-on solution yet. Otherwise, we're pretty much done down here until I get a butt kicker and or a new couch. Got the last 3 tiles to do, and then I'm gonna put this stuff back, and I shouldn't have to move it again, and then we'll be good for today. And that's that. It's back to normal. So the isolation feet are in place, the little subwoofer and the 2 towers. This is now straightened out and will stay that way, more or less. I put 1 screw in. I need a few more. I'm probably gonna do this one right now, actually, before I head up. So yeah, there's 1 screw right now because it kept popping out. But other than that, we're good. This is all cleaned up again. This is back to its usual. And that's that. 2 more projects off the list. I keep going back and forth if I should finish this wall. I still have plenty of DVDs and boxes. I could very easily extend this to the other side of the window, or even all the way across. We had decided to stop it here just so it kind of has a breakup point. But I don't know. That wall could use a little more or something, I think. I'll discuss it with the wife. Maybe we'll go that route. And then I also was wondering if I should do more with this or not. I kind of like where it stopped, but another row or 2 would be fine. 1 more should just barely or just minimally affect the light. I can work around that. This would need to get fixed, either hammered up or pulled down. Honestly, these don't do that much to support the thing. I guess I'd probably try to bang it up though. But yeah, I don't really know that it's worth it. It'd be cute. I'm not gonna do all that though. So I don't know. I'll think about that one. But the wall, I'm leaning towards a yes on. Anyway, I'm gonna go upstairs and check on the server status and relax a little before the wife comes home in like 2 hours. 3 hours. And I will update you a little bit later on the status of the job tomorrow. See you then. Well, we're making progress. Server's about 40% done resyncing. It's down to about 60 hours or 2.5 days. But again, that fluctuates wildly. I'll check it in an hour and it'll say 80 to 100 hours. But it definitely does speed up as it goes. So it's getting there. So the ROGD drive is now a 4 terabyte drive that I cleared. So that is now in this computer over here. I got the 2 terabyte drive that used to go in here, cleared and ready to go in there. It's not totally empty, it's got all the stuff that belongs on this computer, but its extra data is gone. I have one 2 terabyte drive that is now empty. That stuff's all been moved to this DVB overflow drive. That's the 18 terabyte that got pulled out. Right now I'm in the process of moving this Xmas and Comedy drive over to that. So that'll be another 2 terabyte drive, clear and empty, ready to go for whatever. Next thing I'll do is the other 2 terabyte drive, so probably concerts and music. And then maybe animated movies, just so I could have nothing up in the top here. This now has an empty bay, so that's where the other 18 will go eventually, once I'm at that part of the data rebuild. So yeah, the top thing should be empty, everything should be in the bottom one. And I should still have plenty of space free. So yep, the next thing you'll hear from me is tomorrow about the status of the job. Wish me luck. Well, I ordered the butt kicker, so you know what that means. I got the job. Start date is February 19th, so I still got, about 13 or so days of freedom, where I can finish off some projects and relax before I go back into the grind. At least it's a work-at-home job, so, it keeps me close. I don't have to worry about transportation, things like that. Butt kicker should be here on the 12th or so, unless it ships early, which would be nice, but I'm not holding my breath. I ended up getting the female bananas and some more banana plugs. I thought the female bananas were actually too small for a minute, because they looked really tiny, but the connector does fit in there, and it's a nice secure connection, so that's good. I did a little bit of research, and apparently you can mount the butt kicker horizontally, but it's just changed the motion, and they highly suggest doing it vertically, especially for home theater. So I'm changing how I was planning on doing that. I'm just going to stick it under one of the legs. I actually got a kit that they recommend. And then I'm just going to put the isolation feet that it actually comes with, the kit, under the rest of the couch. The reason I didn't originally want to go that route is because they're designed to screw into like wood legs. Couch doesn't have wood legs, it's all a metal frame. So I either need to find a nut and bolt that will fit, or just have it sit on it and not move the couch very often. That would be more annoying than having them actually affixed, but it's fine. So yep, I am now employed and should be making some decent money compared to where I was at. It'll be a nice boost, so I'm pretty confident in spending a little bit of money. I'm not going to go crazy though. Going ahead and I'm going to test it with the existing Rockville amp first. Make sure it's sufficient. If it is, I'll probably just get another one the next time I see one on sale. They're cheap enough. Or I could try to go a different route if it's not, but most of the other amps I've seen are decently more expensive. I'd rather not go that route if I don't have to. So we'll check into that. I guess the one downside if I use the Rockville is it doesn't have any like advanced DSP or anything. And since the butt kicker is going to just be daisy chaining off of one of the other sub outs, probably subwoofer 2, since I'm already kind of doing subwoofer 1 up front, And that's also closer to the second subwoofer, so as far as delays and stuff, it should be closer. But it may not be exact, so I won't have like fine control over phase and delay and such. But it should be good enough for what I'm looking for. Update on the server, it's been going for 4 days now. Started on Saturday, it's now Wednesday. So that's 4 days, right? Yeah. It says it's got about 35 hours left, although it fluctuates all the time. So that is just for the data rebuild. It still has to go ahead and do the expansion of the volume after that, which is another multi-day process. But at least, you know, after it's redundant, it's secure again. I don't have to worry about the thing crashing. That's also why I'm not transferring any files to it currently, because Windows 11 and or something with this computer doesn't seem to like transferring to the server all the time. It tends to freeze up and then I have to do a hard reboot. So I don't want to do that in the middle of a rebuild. Went ahead and did some data migration, basically done at the moment. So as you can see, the top bay is now empty, so all of the 2 terabytes that were in there, so there was 4 of them, are now empty and free for other usage. The 2 4 terabytes that go in the tower are both out. One is now in this computer, that's that ROG drive. The other one is also clear and empty, ready for use. So there's a free bay in here for when the other 18 terabyte of the main server comes out. And the 18 that already came out, this overflow, is pretty well full. It's where I want it. It's got about 1.5 or 1.9 terabytes free. But that's if I can put some other stuff on there as the directories that are on there expand. The rest of the migration to free up some space, not all of the space, on these other drives is going to have to wait till the other 18 terabyte is free. So that'll allow me to kind of condense a directory or two. Like my documentaries are split across 3 drives right now. I can put them all on one. I can move some of the 4K onto there to free up the rest of the Elements drive. So the Elements, which is the external, I want to blank out, so it's available for other usage. Just basically probably use it as another movie travel drive, instead of actually being an active backup drive. So that'll all get cleared. That'll be about half of the 18 terabyte. And then it's got like the upper 4Ks, like S and above, or at least some of the S's. So I'll probably move other things to there. The rest of the S's, maybe starting from P, and then I can have space on the other 2 4K drives to kind of expand those as they go for those letters. But that's all on hold for a few more days until the other thing is completely done when it's rebuild and I can take out the other drive. So yeah, that is that. That'll be the end of this video. We'll start the next one actually setting up the butt kicker in a couple days when that shows up, and I can go through that whole process. But otherwise, I think we're in a good spot. Data migration's progressing smoothly. I have a start date for a new job, so I can start getting some income again. They are sending me a computer. It's going to be a Mac. It's 31 inches or so, so that's going to go where this computer is. This computer doesn't only go here, this computer goes downstairs. So that'll be there. I don't really want to have another computer there. I kind of like looking at my sort of fish tank, but it's fine. Hopefully I can use it there. So yeah, good things coming. See you in the next one.